After donating a kidney, Francia Raisa was so weak she couldn't even bear to walk her own dog, but she says it was all worth it to save the life of her best friend, Selena Gomez. Francia loved living with her bestie until the fateful day she received a terrified text from Selena who said she was scared her life was coming to an end. Selena had been struggling with an autoimmune disease called lupus for quite some time and had been doing her best to treat it.
Selena says she was diagnosed with lupus 5 years ago and the autoimmune disease attacked her kidneys.
But even after going through intense chemotherapy, Selena was still suffering. And since Francia was her roommate, she had a front row seat to Selena's health problems. One day her arthritis was so bad that she broke down crying in frustration.
She couldn't open a water bottle one day. She chucked it and just started crying.
There was no way around it. Selena needed a new kidney, and for Francia, there was no question. She would do anything to help her best friend. Francia and Selena had met almost 10 years earlier, and they hit it off immediately. At the time, Selena was working with Disney on shows like Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place, and Francia was portraying Adrienne Lee on the ABC drama The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Both Disney and ABC decided to send some of their young stars on various volunteer opportunities, and Francia was quick to sign up. She ended up volunteering at the Children's Hospital and found herself in the same group as Selena. The two just clicked, according to Francia, and they found themselves becoming best friends and then roommates. Selena's mother even says she considers Francia to be like another daughter to her. So when her BFF Selena was afraid for her life, Francia had absolutely zero hesitation when she volunteered her own kidney. Of course, they had to get tested first and determine if Francia was a match for Selena, but Francia says she doesn't believe in coincidences and thinks it was fate that made them a perfect match.
I had a feeling, especially when we found out that we both were the same blood type, like I just knew.
Selena admitted that she would have never wanted to ask anyone for a kidney and was stunned when Francia volunteered.
No, but honestly, when I found out I was a match for Selena, I didn't think twice about it.
Waiting for a traditional transplant could take about 7 to 10 years, but Francia wanted her friend to feel better as soon as possible. The physical and psychological evaluations required to donate usually drag on for months, but Francia went through an expedited process in a single day. But just because she was barreling through the pre-op checkups doesn't mean Francia wasn't terrified. She admits that she was worried about how the process would affect her own health, and so was her family. The transplant was a huge success, but recovery wasn't easy for Francia. She admits she was unprepared for how weak and helpless she would be in the weeks following the procedure.
I couldn't pick up my dog, he's 16 pounds. That was rough, I couldn't walk him.
Not only was there a huge physical toll on Francia, but she admits there was an enormous mental one as well. She and Selena both experienced depression in the aftermath of the surgeries, and in some ways, Francia had additional struggles. Selena had gotten an organ she desperately needed, while Francia had lost one of her own. As if this situation wasn't tough enough, rumors started swirling that Francia and Selena had a falling out after the procedure and were no longer friends. The rumor was that Selena wasn't taking her post-surgery health seriously by drinking and partying, and this caused Francia to become resentful. And Selena was eager to enjoy her new health without feeling like she owed Francia a huge debt. The truth is that Selena did go to rehab twice following the transplant, but it was for mental health issues. She's always been open about her struggles with her health and the way it affects her mentally. Dealing with post-surgery depression is definitely a thing and doesn't mean Selena and Francia are no longer friends. According to Francia, the two still love having girls' nights and staying up late eating Mexican food. When Selena's fans questioned their friendship, Francia stated that just because their every move isn't documented on Instagram doesn't mean they aren't pals. There are also people who claim Selena is the only reason Francia is famous, and that definitely strikes a chord with this star. Francia was born Francia Raisa Almendarez, but later decided to go by the name Francia Raisa professionally. The reason? Her father, Renan Almendarez Coello, was a radio personality, and she often found living in his shadow overwhelming. She hoped not sharing a name would cause people to respect her based on her own merit and not just because of her famous father. Growing up in Los Angeles, Francia had to deal with people trying to be her friend just to get closer to her famous father. It was a painful lesson, and one that didn't help with her own insecurities. According to Francia, she grew up feeling self-conscious about her looks, particularly her nose. It didn't help that her relationship with her father was complicated by his fame, and she couldn't seem to stop fighting with her mother. Although Francia says they are close now, she admits she and her mother fought continuously when she was a teenager. She often felt self-conscious on the inside, but on the outside, she was a confident cheerleader who started acting and modeling in her junior year of high school. She appeared in the music video for My Girlfriend by Lil Romeo and in Ayaz's music video for So Big. When she was a senior in high school, she got her big break as one of the lead roles in the movie Bring It On, All or Nothing. Then, she landed the role that would lead her to meeting Selena Gomez, The Secret Life of the American Teenager. In fact, Francia is the first to admit that meeting Selena has been a boost to her career. She says it really helped to have Selena as a sounding board as she tried to navigate the ins and outs of the industry. But that's not why Francia befriended Selena. In fact, the two women frequently bonded over their frustrations with finding work as older characters thanks to their youthful appearances. Both Selena and Francia have always felt that they had to work twice as hard to be taken seriously because of how they look. But Francia managed to turn that negative into a positive by landing the role of teenager Ana Torres on the show Grownish when she was really 29 years old. Since Francia grew up with a father in the entertainment industry, she thought she knew what it would be like to have a career in the spotlight. But once her dad found success on his radio show, he was all set. Francia, however, was constantly trying out for parts and dealing with unemployment whenever a project wrapped up. She claims it's a tough and tiring process, but luckily she has a lot of support. Francia says she's close with the cast of Grownish and they have begun to feel like a family to her. She and her co-star Yara Shahidi felt an instant chemistry on set together, but her surgery very nearly kept her from getting the part at all.
I couldn't take a shower by myself. I need someone to help me because I couldn't move.
She auditioned for the show while she was still recovering and was in so much pain she could barely walk. Francia did her best to hide her condition from the casting director so they wouldn't hold it against her. She was a huge fan of its predecessor, Blackish, and knew the show was something she wanted to be a part of. Her audition was actually held on her birthday, and landing the role was the best present ever. As for the future, Francia has some goals in mind, and not all of them have to do with acting. She went straight from high school to working in the entertainment industry, and that's something she regrets to this day. Francia admits that even though it would have been difficult, she could have made college happen and chose not to. Even though many years have passed, Francia says she still intends to go to school and graduate even if it happens later in her life. Looking back at her story, it's remarkable how much of her life has been shaped by her giving and generosity. If she wasn't dedicated to volunteering, she might have never met Selena in the first place. Then it was her dedication to her friend and her generous spirit that made her donate her kidney. And to this day, Francia is still trying to do what she can to help others. She supports the charity organization Unlikely Heroes, which helps educate people on the dangers of human trafficking and provides support for people who have been touched by the tragedy. Francia also believes in using her voice to speak up for a cause close to her heart. Although Francia spent most of her life in LA, she's of Mexican and Honduran descent, and her culture is a big part of her life. Still, she admits that it's not always easy being a Latina in Hollywood, and it's been a huge part of her career since the very beginning. When she looked at character breakdowns, she knew there was no way she would get the part unless the description specifically said Latina, and if the description did say Latina, she knew competition was going to be incredibly fierce. Considering how tough the entertainment industry is, it took some time for Francia to learn that she and her fellow actresses should be supporting each other instead of competing against each other. In the years since she started acting, Francia says she's seen a huge change in Hollywood. Although there's still a long way to go, the fact that diversity is now a conversation is a vast improvement. Since Francia has some roles under her belt and a certain amount of fame, she feels compelled to speak up against injustice and defy stereotypes. She supports the Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors Act, also known as the DREAM Act, and the dreamers who are affected by it. While Francia acknowledges that she's just one voice, she hopes to inspire other people to stand up for what they believe in. As for Francia's own career-related dream, she says she would love to take on more roles which would allow her to dance in front of the camera. She loves dancing and has taken lessons in pretty much every kind of dancing from tap to hip-hop. Even to this day, Francia keeps up with dance classes so she's ready to bust a move at a moment's notice. The only thing Francia could do without? Horror movies. Even though she was in the horror comedy Love Bites, scary movies are something this star has no patience for. What is Francia up to right now? Well, according to this star, she's eagerly awaiting Selena's next big hit song just like the rest of us. What do you think about the story of Francia Raisa? Do you think she's made it in Hollywood on her own merit, or does she really owe her fame to Selena? Let us know what you think in the comment section and then click on the subscribe button for more videos from us at The Taco. Bye for now.